did you start off by doing OnlyFans right away?
One day, like, posted a photo of myself in a thong bikini, and I've never in my life even wore a thong bikini.
This is what we call a blessing and a curse.
It makes for good stories, and that's why I created that platform, because these girls have the craziest stories.
I see that you do fitness. How did that come about?
I loved the gym. I was ripped out of my mind at 22 years old. I loved it.
Welcome back, guys. It's your boy Logic. Make sure if this is your first time, you hit that like and subscribe button. Tonight, I have a lovely guest, a true go-getter. Now, this girl here, let me tell you, she's very remarkable. You know, they say that you can see something in people that are special. Now, I can tell you, I see this girl going very far. She's a young lady. She is a powerhouse, hungry, ambition, build businesses, encourage other. You know, she has her own motive, and she's honestly pushing through, and she's making headlines. She goes by the name of ANA NELLO. Sorry. You know, I ain't the sharpest knife in the drawer, but this is a remarkable woman here. She's 28 years old. She comes from New Jersey, and she's here shaking the business up, you know, and she's making it count, and she comes with a pack of a punch. Please introduce yourself.
Oh, thank you so much. That was so kind. Hi, guys. I'm Anna. Thank you for having me.
Sweet. All right, so let's get into it.
All right.
Anna.
Yes.
How do I pronounce your last name?
Nello.
Nello.
Yes.
Where does that derive from?
It's Italian, actually.
Okay, so
yes.
I honestly thought you were Hispanic.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I am 50-50 Italian and Portuguese.
Okay. Holy shit.
Yes.
Okay, how does that work? Like, because those are opposite on the fences.
Yeah, so my mom is from Portugal. She came here when she was 13, 14. She met my dad at 16, and my dad fell in love with her. My dad is 11 years older than her.
Oh, shit.
But he doesn't look... they look the same age. My dad doesn't look his age. He's 67 right now, and he literally looks like he's like 50. He looks great for his age.
Oh, so she doesn't stress him out, in other words.
Well, they're actually divorced.
Oh, shit. Okay. Retract my statement. All right.
But no, my parents have a great friendship. We spend every Sunday doing family dinners, and they're best friends. They text every day. It's just... after 32 years of marriage, they were like, let's maybe not do this anymore. And that's okay. There's nothing wrong with it.
You know, when it comes to that, I think that's what people consider the taboo, but I call it structure. Because you don't necessarily, just because you're not with the person doesn't mean you have to become enemies.
Exactly.
And you have a unity together because, you know, do you have siblings?
I do. I have a sister.
You have a sister,
Yes,
younger?
younger.
Older? So, you know, keep the family together. And I think that's a thing that I encourage because it's like, people like to gravitate towards the negativity of broken families. Like, it doesn't have to
Honestly,
be that way.
our family is a lot healthier now that my parents are divorced. I mean, they've been divorced for a very long time, but when growing up, like, things were a little bit toxic in the household when they were married because they didn't get along. And now that they are divorced, they actually get along way better. And so we do have a very healthy family. We all hang out together. We spend the weekends together, and my parents don't hate each other. They don't speak badly about each other. But they text every day. And like, when my mom has an issue, she goes to my dad. And when my dad has an issue, he goes to her. So
they kept their friendship.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah. But yeah, so she came to America, met my dad. They started dating, they got married, and then they started a family.
Okay. So your mom is Portuguese and your dad's Italian. Did he come to the country too, or he was born here?
No, he is from New Jersey, Hoboken, straight up Italian, like mafia motherfucker.
Italian, Sunday dinners. Okay.
He has the very heavy accent. He's really funny, but no, he's like super, super Italian, but he's from the United States.
Okay, so you're second generation.
Yes.
Okay. So how did that affect you when you basically started pursuing your dreams? Because that actually has a big influence, you know? Because you are close to your dad, I'm assuming.
I'm close to both my parents, yes. Yeah.
Okay, that's beautiful.
Yes. I mean, I guess it did impact me, but I think in a positive way. So my father, he is a businessman. He's always owned businesses. He dropped out of school. He didn't really care to finish high school. He doesn't have any degrees. But my dad is the most educated person. You can have a conversation about anything, especially business. And so because I am a creator, technically I am self-employed and I do own a business and I branch out within my business to create other businesses. So I feel like having him behind me is such an amazing thing because he has helped me so much when it comes to like, you need an LLC, you need an accountant, you need a lawyer, you need this, you need that. Like, make sure you have a contract, make sure this is in the contract. And I wouldn't know those things if it wasn't for my father. And then my mom, total opposite. She has every degree in the world. She educates herself every single week. I feel like she's in a new seminar. She goes to classes. She's so educated. She's in the health field. She's not a doctor, but she teaches doctors. And so she's very, very, very educated. And I was in nursing school before I started social media. And when I dropped out, she was so upset, so disappointed. And she told me, like, you can't succeed in this world without a degree. That's not a smart decision. Don't do it. My dad, on the other hand, was like, I told you to not go to college. Like, I'm so happy that you dropped out. I'm so proud of you. You're going to do so much better.
That's a lot of conflict right there. Wow.
It was, yes. Okay. So they are completely opposite. But again, like, I love my mom. She's so educated. So is my father, but in different areas. So it does help me in both aspects because my mom is not American, I did not grow up in an American household. Like, it was very traditional. Like, my mom stayed home cooked. If I wanted breakfast, lunch, dinner, a snack, it was made by her. We never went out to eat. I have like very strong like family morals, which, people are like, well, you're an OnlyFans girl. Like, you can't have family morals. That doesn't mean anything. I still, to this day, hang out with my family. My parents are very active in my life. They love me, support me. Like, they know what I do for a living. They have no problem with it. They are so proud that I make more than 6 figures like a year. They are absolutely so proud of me, So it's an amazing thing. But yeah, I don't think it impacted me in a negative way. I think it impacted me in a positive way.
Okay. Let's double back because that was a lot. Okay, so with that, when it comes to your mom, I understand. I feel like the saying that applies to your mom: never let schooling get in the way of your education. Yeah. And your dad reminds me of, which I'll give you the video after this. It's How You Living. The smartest person I know was a 3rd grade dropout. I think, especially in this day and age now, especially in this generation, we understand that you could be fine working a 9 to 5. There's no shame in that. Yeah. But we're also dreamers. We live in America where, dream is to basically make something of yourself. And sometimes you got to go against the grain in order to do that. Yeah. And going against the grain means, possibly pissing off some people and stepping on some toes and honestly separating from what we consider normal, and I think that takes courage and strength. So you were going to nursing school.
Yes.
Okay. How did that come about? Was that like a call-in that you felt, or it was just something that you were always interested in?
Well, I actually have Crohn's disease, and I was born with it, which is very rare, I guess. People do get it over the years, but ever since I came out the womb, I had stomach issues. I was finally diagnosed when I was 5 years old, and back then, I'm 28 now, so 23 years ago when I was diagnosed, it was not common for children that age to have Crohn's disease. So I went through a lot of like medical testings. I went through a lot of surgeries. I have almost died a few times. I was very ill, hospitalized a ton. I lost a lot of my childhood because of it. And so I felt like because I was in and out of the medical system as a patient, I learned so much and I saw so much that I was like, nurses are great, but they don't take that good of care of their patients. Doctors, terrible. I do not like doctors.
I respect them, but I'm not a fan of doctors. No shade, just I respect your profession. It's just sometimes they could treat you like a science experiment when they can't figure out.
Well, it's all about money. Doctors don't become doctors because they want to help people. They actually become doctors because they want to make money, and they will make money. But it's kind of fucked up in the way that they do make money because they make money off of medication and surgeries. Those things don't fix the problem.
They hide it.
So the conventional medical system is so screwed up, and I've been through it since I was a baby, that my mom actually, thank God that she's so educated and she went back to school and she wanted more for me as her, she didn't believe that the conventional medical system was treating me correctly. They were like, at age 7, I was in the hospital, or I'm sorry, I was 12. I was in the hospital, and they were like, sorry, we don't know what else to do for her. We've tried the medications, we've tried the surgeries. She's literally dying and we don't know what else to do. And my mom was like, that's not like, how could you say that? So my mom
they gave up on you.
Yeah, they did. And that's not the first time doctors have given up on me when I was in the hospital for months and they didn't know what to do. And so my mom was like, I'm not going to let this happen. And she became a holistic nutritionist and she learned a lot. She educated herself so well. And she's actually the reason why I'm still alive. Because if we went through the conventional medical system and listened to the doctors, I don't know where I'd be. I probably wouldn't be here, to be honest. I mean, you have a young 12-year-old patient and they have intestines that are damaged. You're just going to cut them out and then just like expect them to live the rest of their life like that. Once you start taking out organs, your body starts disintegrating a lot faster than a normal human being that has all of their organs. So like, it just didn't make sense. And the medication they had me on was very strong and stuff. So yeah, like I said, back to what I was saying about nursing school, I learned a lot and I felt like, why not join the medical system? I already am so educated that I feel like I could really help somebody in like a positive way. Like I didn't want to work in the conventional medical system. I wanted to work in like maybe a holistic doctor's office or something along the lines of that. But then I started social media while I was in school. And it started doing really well for me. And then a few months after I started, I actually got sick with my Crohn's again. And I was very, very sick. So I actually had no choice but to drop out. I didn't necessarily drop out because of social media. I dropped out because I was too ill to go to school. And I was like dying. I was in and out of the hospital. I was extremely sick. So I had no choice to drop out of school because of my illness. But the power of social media, like I was making really good money that I didn't need to go back to school.
So pretty much this is what we call a blessing and a curse.
Yeah.
You know, because unfortunately you're going through this whole ordeal with your health, but at the same time, you're not giving up. You're staying sharp and you're like, okay, well, if I can't do this, I'm going to get it one way or another. So did you start off by doing OnlyFans right away or were you doing something else before? Because I see that you do fitness and I see that you know, with the car club.
Yeah.
So let's get into that. How did that come about?
So in 2019, I started growing on social media very fast. It's actually really funny. I think I was like 21, 22, I think. I was 22. And honestly, I have never acknowledged the fact that I had a nice body. I probably had body dysmorphia. I probably still do, actually.
Really?
Yeah, I think I definitely do. We all of females have it. So I was really heavily into like the fitness world. I was dating a bodybuilder. My mom was dating a bodybuilder. I have always dated bodybuilders. I wanted to compete. I was in the gym two times a day, every single day. I loved the gym. I was ripped out of my mind at 22 years old. But I loved it. And I would always work out with guys or my stepdad and his friends. So I was training at like a bodybuilder male level, you know? So like I loved it. So I one day like posted a photo of myself in a thong bikini and I've never in my life even wore a thong bikini. I borrowed one from a friend. She's like, you should take a photo in this. And I was like, oh my God, like my butt? I was like, I've never, and like I went to Catholic school my whole life. I was like, what? Like,
oh, shit.
Yeah, like I just didn't acknowledge the fact that I had a nice body or I had a big butt. Like I didn't acknowledge any of that. I didn't really know. Nobody's ever like.
Were you self-conscious?
No, I just never really cared. Like when I would go to the gym, I was more focused on working out my upper body than my lower body. And I didn't really care that I had like a big butt or like, I didn't care to post it or anything. So I posted a photo and it actually went viral. I don't know how, it just did. And I gained like 10,000 followers overnight. World Star shouted me out. Like I started getting crazy like shout outs, crazy promos. And I was like, oh my God, I was like, my butt is making me famous. And I didn't even know that like this could happen. And I was so young. And like back then in 2019, like that just was very like uncommon. I mean, I didn't even know that was possible. So then I had a friend who is a guy and he's famous on social media. And even back then he was famous and he had an OnlyFans and I called him and I was like, what do I do? Because you're the only person I know that's like famous and like on social media. Like, I don't know what to do. He's like, create an OnlyFans. I think that you should. You can make really good money from it. And I was like, but what is it? What do I do? And he was telling me, he's like, just post like bikini photos. Like just make it like a fan page. And back then, I think it was like a fan page. It wasn't really like a porn site. It was more like a fan-based page. So I was like, all right, cool, I'll make one. So I made one, and then I got reached out to by a management company, and they were like, hey, like, we want to help grow you, like, we want to like promo you, like, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, okay, cool. And like, that's just kind of like where it took off, and like having a team behind me, like, help me with like promos on like social media and stuff, like, really, like, that's really what did it for me.
Okay, so technically it just basically, you weren't looking for it, it found you.
Yeah, I say it all the time. I'm like, I didn't, you know how people say like, oh, she's famous or she's an OnlyFans girl, she really wants attention. I actually hate attention. I'm like very
Really?
Yeah, I'm a very outgoing, bubbly person, but I love staying inside. I hate going out. I hate talking to people I don't know. I love being in my own little circle with my own little crew. Like, I don't want any new friends. Like,
so you're a hermit crab.
I really am. I love being home, and to be honest, like, I don't post something for attention. I post it because it's my job, you know?
Okay, I mean, the OnlyFans, man, that's I gotta be honest, that's a very popular topic, and a lot of people ridicule it because they don't understand it.
Yeah.
Now, mind you, I understand the hustle. I don't pay for the hustle because it's not my cup of tea.
Yeah.
However, I'm not going to hate on the next person making bread. That's just,
I agree.
you know, you said how it started to where it is now. How would you explain that transition of how OnlyFans was to where it is now?
The beginning was so good. I wish I could like rewind and live that 4 years ago. It was just so good. I think OnlyFans is the industry in general, Instagram, TikTok, OnlyFans, Twitter, any platform, it's very oversaturated now. I think that we are having literally issues with our economy because of social media. Everybody refuses to go to school, get a job because they could do social media, they could do OnlyFans. And it is hurting us a little bit as a country, I genuinely think, as a world, to be honest. But it was so good back then, like, because not a lot of people were on it, not a lot of people were doing it. I remember like when I first started, like people were like, what are you doing? And I'm like, I don't even know what I'm doing, but I'm doing it. And so it's just a lot different now, but I think it's really awesome. I love the platform. I love social media. I'm not like hating that it's saturated. I think like everyone that has the opportunity to do it should do it. It's great. I feel like I didn't expect it to be where it is today. And I think like the fact that they are growing it the way that they're growing it with like other platforms and revenues that they're doing is just super, super cool.
Yeah, I see they're going more commercial now because they're signing big influencers.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh shit,
Yeah.
they're going after Disney people. And I'm like, okay, I see where it's going. I mean, the thing with OnlyFans, I think that comes down, at least from my perspective, was, you know, a lot of my friends talk about it. I'm like, bro, it's for the streets, or, you know, and it's a business at the end of the day. Whether you like it or not, it is a business. Now, within that business, how you do your business is pretty much tells a lot about the person. Not proud of this. We used to make jokes, like for the girls who do the OnlyFans or for the guys who do OnlyFans, now you know what it's like to be a struggling rapper in the neighborhood. You know, but at the same time, it's obviously changed your life and it's basically allowed you to see the world, to travel and to basically get into the business. Because that's one thing that I honestly got caught my interest, is the fact that you focus more on the business side. Like, I know a lot of people look at a picture and they judge the picture, you know, but at the same time, till you read the book, you really don't know what you got. So with you have basically, you haven't stopped there. I see you're always moving for the next. And
I'm never satisfied. That's why. I really am not. I think that I've accomplished a lot of amazing things in the past 5 years that I've been on social media. A lot of people on social media don't even know like really who I am or much about me because I don't show too much. But I am like, I crave like the business side of everything. And I think that's because of the family background that I come from. Everyone in my family owns a business. Support. Everyone, even my own father. So like all my uncles, my cousins, my grandfather, they all own businesses. So to come from a background like that, I look at this as a business. And so a lot of girls don't. They look at it like, well, like I have blah, blah, blah followers on Instagram. Like I'm this, I'm that. And I'm like, to be honest, if it's not making me money, I don't really care. Like if you can have 1 million followers and make $0 from Instagram, who cares how many followers you have? Exactly. As long as you're making money from it, that's the only thing I care.
Let me ask you this question. Would you rather be heard or respected?
It's a good question. If I was getting paid to be heard, I would want to be heard. But if I'm not, then I would want to be respected.
Okay. Why? If you break that down into detail.
Well, you can think about it like the guy from Happy Dad. His name is Steve. Okay. Do you know who that is?
Steve will do it?
Yes, Steve will do it. He's not.
I'm an old head, so you have to forget. Like
I know, it's okay, but you know who I'm talking about, correct? Mm-hmm. So some people can say that Steve is not respected because the way that he treats people or the way that he goes about like doing crazy things on social media, right? Like everybody loves him. Everyone loves watching his stuff, but does he respect certain people? No. And so when you don't respect people, do people respect you? No, right? I mean, I'm sure a lot of people do respect him. It's maybe a bad example to use, but you understand. Yeah. But he's heard, and he makes a lot of money off of being heard. Like he has a huge influence, huge. Like he can endorse Trump, and people are going to go vote for Trump because of that, you know? So like, and he's an influencer. He's not a celebrity or like a politician or anything. Okay. So I guess I look at it like that. Like, yeah, it's great to be respected, but at the same time, do people respect me because I do OnlyFans on social media? No, nobody's respecting me because of it. Men don't look at me and say, I respect her for doing what she does. Nobody does that at all. But I'm heard, I have an influence, I make a lot of money off of social media, and I rather make money because at the end of the day, a guy that's standing in front of me telling me that he doesn't respect me, does he make more money than me? No, he doesn't. Because men that make more money than me do respect what I'm doing because they see the business side of it. Every man that I've sat across the table from and he makes more money than me has never belittled me. He has never said like, I would never do what you're doing, or thinks of me as this compared to this. Like, they're not like that. Men that make a lot of money and are on the business side of things would never sit here and judge me for what I'm doing.
There's one life to live, right? So I get what you're saying on that. I think the judgment, like at least in my, you know, I don't judge people because I've done my fair share of stupid shit.
Yeah.
You know, I think it comes down, and this is not to ridicule anyone in this business, it's the digital imprint, you know, and we hear it all the time, be careful what you do today because you have to live with it tomorrow. And as long as you're willing to make your bed and lay in it, no one could take that away from you. And I think that's where, you know, social media has these frenzies where you have these misogynistic podcasts, and I call it how I see it. You know, the I'm not going to say their name, but the fit type individuals, which I can't stand because the same dudes hating on you are the same ones paying for you.
Yep,
you know?
exactly.
And I never really understood that. Like,
I have experience with them too. I went on their podcast. They belittled everybody there at the table. And then the next day, you know who's in my DMs? They are. I want to fly you to Miami. I'll buy you a hotel room. I'll take you shopping. I'll take you to dinner. Where do you want to go?
Let's dial back, because now that I have you here, I want to get down to the core, because to me, and this is just me being honest, and you guys know how I roll, I don't walk on eggshells for no one, is I don't tell a woman how to be a woman. That is not my place. I can only tell a man how to be a man because I'm a man.
Exactly.
So I have a problem. I don't have a problem with girls doing OnlyFans. I have a problem with simps.
Yeah.
You know, and the simps are the power makers. Like, and I was talking to a friend when I had gone to Colombia, you know, because we know why dudes go to Colombia. I'm a foodie. I like to eat. That is
but you're not going to Colombia to eat.
I go to Colombia to eat.
Yeah, but most people are not going to Colombia to eat.
And I said, when I went there, everyone was like, oh, yo, what are you doing? I'm like, I got sancocho, you know, I got the, like, and they're like, that's it? I'm like, yeah. And some cologne, bro. Like, it's just, again, I'm Haitian, so I come from a whole different upbringing. And with that, you know, a lot of these dudes, what they end up saying is like, oh, I get girls. I'm like, no, you pay for them. You know, oh, she's feeling me. No, she's feeling the $5,000 that you gave her to put her in the hotel room. You don't have it. I come from an era where we hunt, and I hate to sound primal like that.
Yeah.
We hump. Hunt in the sense of if you see something that you want, you go after it, whether it's a dream or a person or, you know, a job.
But that's masculinity. That's what men are supposed to do. They're supposed to hunt and get what they want.
Are they doing that now?
Yeah, but you also have to look at the world that we're living in. Men are not men. They are very estrogenized. They have a lot more estrogen than they do testosterone. And that comes down to the environment that we're living in. Social media is also creating that to happen. And the food that they're eating. The food that we're eating is very contaminated. It has a lot of estrogen in our food.
Soy.
Exactly.
Tofu, like all these things.
And then,
thank you, Ma, for not buying me fast food and cooking home meals for me. And, you know, thank you.
Same. But you really have to look down to the typical American man that what are they doing? And now females, a lot more females, are making a lot more than the male population. So you're looking at the 1%ers, right? The 1%ers are making X amount of money a year. Okay, but now that female population is going up and the male population is going down. And that is because of social media and OnlyFans. And so men are feeling a little bit more masculinized, I think, in my opinion, because but you have to like take everything into consideration, because I understand where you're coming from, because I say the same thing. I'm like, I'm still single at 28, and it is not because of social media at all, because I can find somebody to date me.
I'm single because I have issues that I need to work on.
You're like, I have issues. But no, I'm having a problem finding somebody who's more masculine than me. I'm very masculine in my own way because I own my own business, make my own money, very independent, take myself everywhere, cook myself something, clean myself something, drive myself somewhere.
Okay, hold on. So, you said you listed all those things. Now, I'm going to be very honest, and this is not to ridicule or anything, but not saying you, but when I hear that, you know, I hear, oh, I pay my own bills, I do this, I'm like, okay, you're an adult.
Yeah.
Cool. I understand what you're saying with the whole economical shift, if we would, because women are making more money than men now, but how does that bring down one's masculinity? Well, we know because it brings in insecurities. You know, your girl's making more than you, and it's like I'm very old school in that whole situation, because it's like, okay, there's been times where when I was with my partner, she was making more than me, but I still lead, you know.
Exactly.
And it didn't make me feel less of a person. If anything, it motivated me, like, okay, maybe she could teach me some things.
Well, not everything's about money. I'm not saying it like, well, you know, I'm not saying that's an issue because women make more money than men. I'm just saying it's a factor. But I'm not saying it is about money. Okay, yeah, if a female makes more than her man, is that a problem? For some people it is, but for some people it's not. But also those men that are not making more than their female are not also leading in the right ways. So when it comes to like the household and the rules and treating a woman respectfully and romantically, they're also not doing those things.
That throws me off.
But also think about it, the world that we're living in, where social media has such a factor in a relationship, a lot more people are cheating. They look at it like, well, I can have anybody and I can replace you very easily, and they want multiple women in their lives, and women want multiple men in their lives, and they are afraid to commit, but they also are afraid to be alone. So if you're afraid to commit and afraid to be alone, you're struggling there to be in a relationship, but also to be alone.
I call that an identity crisis. I tell my friends, my boys, all the time, like, I was born alone, I die alone. That choice is yours, ultimately. But at the same time, you know, it's tension. There's a lot of tension amongst that, because I get what you're saying as far as relationship goes. Like, even with men, like, and I hate this part, when I shake a guy's hand, when I don't get that firm grip, I get irritated. I remember I had my nephews, you know, they go to Varela, and I meet their friends. Homeboys, I'm like, oh, that's your friend? Okay. you know, I'm Uncle Jay, so I'm like, okay. I'm looking at him, and I'm like, bro, what's up with your mans? He's like, I don't know. I'm like, that's your boy? He's like, yeah. I was like, okay, cool. We're at the McDonald's, and I want to be the cool uncle. So I was like, yo, I'll buy your friend's food, yo. You know, you want to try to make everything comfortable. So this girl, his classmate, as I'm like, oh, what would you like? She's like, I could buy my own meal. I was like, oh, I see that. Very good for you, but I'm buying. What would you like? You know, and the guys were all giddy, and like, I remember, again, I'm 37, so it was backwards, you know? And then when it came to saying goodbye, that handshake, but the girl, this one girl, she's 17, grabs my hand, squeeze it, pulls me in, looks me in my face. I was like, yeah, we got a problem.
She's more masculine than the men you're hanging out with.
And it's not to say that, guys, it's just how do we fix that in that sense? That's why I try to bring awareness to. It's not, you don't have to tear down the other to bring up the other.
Yeah, I agree.
And especially in your case, you're in a business where, yes, you're dealing with businessmen and you get to see the insecurity side, the professional side, and who they truly are, And with that, because you were talking about your relationship, how does that influence you to make decisions about making friends and who you actually put up with?
Well, I feel like everything that I've been through in life, I do struggle. I can make a new friend so easily. I'm very outgoing. I'm very friendly, bubbly. I'm not mean at all. I will be friends with anyone. You could be a little nerd. You could be homeless. You could be a multimillionaire. You could be an athlete. I'll be friends with everybody in between. I also don't judge. But I am very picky on people that I bring into my circle and I'm very close to and I tell my secrets to and I tell honestly just things that I'm up to, like I'm very picky about that because I feel like I've had a lot of people in my life like screw me over or be like very malicious or be disloyal or they're not respecting me. So when it comes to friends, I have probably like 4 really close friends. I don't need any more than that. I'm not looking for any more than that. I have a lot of acquaintances. I know thousands of people and I love knowing people because you never know who, it's good to know people.
People open doors or they could close them.
Exactly, yes. But becoming BFFs with somebody, not really interested in it.
Listen, y'all know who you are. I don't have a circle of friends. I got a triangle.
And girls are crazy, weird.
Okay, I need to ask you that because that's something, and again, this is no shade at all. I see how you do your interviews, and it's like, I'm like, there's more to this because it's like, I'm not saying you're playing the script. You're doing your business, but I see you're thinking more. And I'm like, that's what I'm trying to tap into now because that's your, your professional side.
Yeah.
When you meet these girls, what goes through your mind? Because I know, in case you haven't known, I'm going to tag the videos. Stories are wild, bro.
They are.
They're wild where sometimes I hear the stories, I'm like, oh, we're cooked. Because, again, I can't get mad. You can't. I know it sounds crazy for y'all. I dare y'all to call me or something. You can't get mad because it is what it is, But
I honestly, I don't judge. Honestly, when I hear these stories, I think that they're really funny and I don't judge at all. Like they could tell me the most wild things and I'm like, that's cool. If that's what you like to do it. You have a cool story to tell. I don't judge. I don't care what you're doing in your life. It makes for good stories, and that's why I created that platform, because these girls have the craziest stories. They are seeing the craziest things. They're doing the craziest things, and I feel like it's so entertaining. Like, we need to put it on the table and let other people listen to it because it's crazy.
Also, it's real life. It's not scripted.
Yeah, it is. Yeah,
and I think that's the beauty of what you're doing is it's not scripted. It's authentic. And everything in today's world is scripted.
I know.
To jump back on the masculinity tip, right? Okay. You obviously deal with all types of calibers. Same thing on my end. I try to, I meet certain individuals who think they're somebody versus people who know they're somebody. And that whole paradox alone is something that kind of leaves me on the fringe because it's like, damn, man, I feel like I'm watching the world through a lens of a time machine because then you meet certain individuals like, okay, we're on the right path. And then you see other individuals like, yo, what the fuck is really going on? Excuse my French. But, where do you feel that a woman could actually be in her feminine side? When is it safe for them?
What do you mean by that?
In the business like yours.
Oh, in the business. Never.
Never? Why never?
I don't think that, well, think about it. It's very hard for a woman to succeed in business, no matter what business you're in, even in the OnlyFans industry. I mean, yeah, it's a little bit easier in the OnlyFans industry, but there are a lot of men in every industry, even in the industry I'm in, and they will take advantage of you. And you're also like, they don't look at you as a businesswoman. They look at you as somebody that they can just like use and take like money from, you know, like, oh, I'll do this for you. Yeah, exactly. So I just feel like you never want to be soft and you never want to be too much of a female and be too feminine when you're doing business with other men. It's hard because like obviously I'm never going to be on the same level as a man, and I'm never going to like be as masculine or maybe as educated.
Number one, when it comes to education, you read books?
No.
Okay. There's a book called The Art of War by Sun Tzu. I personally, not to get on a tangent, I personally feel that the majority of women don't really know how strong they are.
I agree.
And if they only knew, like imagine, I say this all the time, women hold so much power because you could make men move certain ways.
That is true.
We move mountains. We go to war for y'all. So if you guys think you guys are weak, please reevaluate yourself. Not you saying that, but a lot of women, you know.
Yes, they do. But I'm not saying like we are weak. I'm just saying that when you're doing business with men, they look at you a little bit different because you're a female. Yeah. You know, so even in the industry that I'm in, you would think like, well, there's a lot of females making a lot of money. So you still want to be careful when you're doing business with men. You don't want to be too soft because they'll take advantage of you. So I just feel like to be feminine in this industry or in any work industry, I feel like for me, the only time I'm feminine or soft is when I'm actually creating content, because I can be myself. And the men that I'm selling content to, they don't want to see me be masculine or business mindy. They want to see me be in my feminine era and be soft. And honestly, that's where I want to be. So like I make content like I'm making content as if like this person is my boyfriend. You know what I mean? So I'm going to make content like I'm going to show my boyfriend like how feminine and soft I really am, because that's how you should be in a relationship. So the people that I'm making content for, like that's how I want to make content for them, is to be very soft and intimate and feminine.
I'm laughing because it's like, damn, you truly got a formula down pat. And you know, yo, kudos to you, bro. Like, kudos to you.
I've always loved math. Everything's a formula. Once you know how to put it in the right place, you got it.
You cooking, man. You stirring the pot. Holy mo. So, see, now here's where this kind of messes me up. You know what men want.
Yeah.
You supply what men want.
Yeah.
But also, you have to stay reserved. That sounds tiring. Like,
oh, I'm very tired. I sleep 9 hours a day and I'm still tired.
Also,
I'm like,
you're a sloth. You know?
I'm so tired. If you literally told me, like, there's a bed next door, you can go take a nap, I'll be there for 4 hours. There could be a fire alarm going on and I wouldn't wake up.
You know, it's crazy. I honestly, I have to be honest, I didn't expect to have this detailed conversation with you, because I was like, okay, did I make the right choice? And I know I sound foul, because mind you, I meet so many individuals and they're ditzy, but you're not ditzy.
I'm not.
Thank God.
I know. But that's how like we are portrayed on social media, is that we're ditzy OnlyFans girls who are just selling our bodies. I'm actually the complete opposite. And that's why I love having such a small circle and like not showing too much on social media, because people are going to have an image of me whether they believe it or not. For instance, like my body, everyone on the internet thinks I have a BBL. I can tell everyone every day I don't have a BBL. I've never gotten surgery, which is the truth, and they will never believe it. I don't honestly care to prove somebody right or wrong. If you think I'm ditzy and I have a BBL, I don't really give a fuck. I really don't. But if you want to actually believe like who I really am, and that I don't have a surgery, and that I work out really hard, and I'm actually very educated and smart, then that's awesome. You know the real me. I honestly don't care what you want to believe about me.
Well, yeah, because, well, again, it's in our nature to judge. They'll look at someone like you and like, oh, Meryl, she didn't have to work for it. She's born, she got pretty privilege. Yeah. It's like, if you only knew how to navigate amongst this business. I also wasn't born rich,
so.
Let that be said again.
I did not come from a rich family.
Believe it or not, I call that privilege. And the reason I call that privilege is because you can feel however you want. And
I learned how to work for it. And I know the value of $1. But when you are born into a really rich family, those children usually are just
weak.
A little bit, but they're also just like cared for. So their parents just give them everything. They don't know the value of $1. But
they don't understand the conception of time either.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, you know, like this is the seed that you planted. This is, at least for me, like as I, you know, start my journey, when I started this, you know, I've always been the person who allows people to open up and be themselves. So I was like, okay, let's see what I could do with this, you know, and I want to heal the world and also bring awareness, because I'm tired of the stereotype of certain people and certain businesses and certain ways, because if you're going to judge, you got to be willing to take that same judgment back. And in your case, you know, to go into this topic, relationships, you were on a show, Mismatch.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, I did. Listen.
You did your research.
Yeah.
Yes.
Is that scripted?
No, it's not scripted. But I don't think. Of course, they would love for you to find love, and they did pair us very well. We went through a very lengthy process. I had to explain a lot about me, and they paired us, I think, very good, because the person that I was paired with, we actually have a lot in common, and we're actually friends. Like, he lives in Miami now. I didn't convince him to move to Miami, but I kind of did. I was like, Miami's great, you should move here, and he did. And now we're friends, we hang out, but is there love? Will we have a relationship? No.
No, I mean, it's, just because you don't have a relationship doesn't mean a friendship can't turn into something powerful.
Exactly, yeah. No, he's a great person, and we have a lot in common. They did really well with that.
But I think I'm gonna be very shallow-minded now. Stop coming to Miami, y'all.
I know, right? You're not gonna find love here.
Go to Texas.
You are not gonna find love here.
Listen, okay, I agree and I disagree with you. And the reason why I disagree, well, the reason why I agree with you, because we're all fucked up.
Yeah.
But the reason I disagree, because I firmly believe if you're patient enough and you honestly have an open mind, you'll bring in your own blessings. Yeah. You manifest what you want in your life. So if you tell yourself, yo, I'm never going to be married, and all that shit going to happen.
I would never say that. You know? I say all the time, I want a husband so bad, but I just haven't found him yet. I think his flight got canceled, actually.
Well, you know, there's also that
and then he just didn't reschedule his flight to Miami.
It happens, man, because honestly.
But he's on his way, don't worry.
Let me ask you, what's your longest relationship?
My longest relationship was almost 3 years. It was like 2.5 years.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
The reason why I asked that is because a lot of people, especially now when I ask, oh, what's the longest relationship? Man, a year. I'm like, that was your longest? It's not to ridicule you. Yeah. It's just, if you're my age and you're telling me your longest is a year, I'm looking at you like, I don't think the girl's the problem, bro. I think you're just incompatible. Because a lot of us, look, I'm selfish as shit.
But also after a year, things go wrong. So after a year, that's when true colors actually start to show. And that's when a lot of relationships break up. So if you make it past the 1 year mark and you still have a very healthy relationship, I think the relationship will work. But after the 1 year, if you have problems leading up to the 1 year, it's not going to last after a year.
Well, I would agree with that too. Also, living with them.
Yeah.
When you living with someone's
very hard.
Listen, and the honey, listen.
And people don't like ease their way into it. They're just like 4 months in, let's move in together. I think that's the wrong way to go about it. Because I've done that with an ex, and it's like,
hold on, you moved. Child, listen. Hey, but you know what?
No,
I can't.
For different reasons.
I can't talk mess, because at the same time, when you find your person or whoever you think is your person, you obviously, it's a job. And I try to educate my peoples on that. It's a job. Okay, when it's a job job that you want. It's not a job that you don't want, because if you don't want the job, it's not gonna bear fruits. So when it comes to relationships, like I learned, you know, the person, you got to learn to fall in love with their ugly, if that makes any sense. You know, it's like, okay, you're never going to be 100% of the woman that I want in my life. But if I can get 80%, I'll take the 80%. The 20%, you ever heard the 80-20 rule? Okay, so you're never going to get the man of your dreams. That is just how life works. But you'll get 80%. The 20%, okay, I have a shorty, she's beautiful, but then here comes this drop dead gorgeous woman who comes in. She's 20% of everything I want. So what people don't understand, the 80%, that's the car that's going to get you from point A to point B. That's the one that's going to make sure that you don't go empty on an empty stomach. That's the one that's going to basically allow you to basically be your best person. The 20%, that's the Ferrari. You think it's all good till you get that damn
and that's
insurance
why people
note.
want two women, because they want the weekend and the weekdays.
Nah, see, listen. I have enough problems with one.
Yeah, imagine having two.
Nah, I ain't built like that. I'm sorry, my insurance don't cover that shit. You know?
Can't have a Ferrari. Too expensive.
Nah. You know, and I always say, like, and I know this hurts people's feelings, you can't be a nickel looking for a dime. And this is where I'm going to call out a lot of these big head honcho men, just because you could afford a motorcycle or a Ferrari doesn't mean you're meant to drive it. And the reason why I say that, because you will get yourself killed fucking with the wrong one, you know, and that's just the way it is. And I know people are, what do you mean by a nickel for a dime? It's like, well, look for another nickel, because what happens is, and this is just my opinion, correct me if you think I'm wrong, men, we have to build our empire. We have to build our worth. 9 out of 10 times, women are born with their worth. You know, you're either ugly or you're not. Hate to be, you know, that's just the way it is. But men, you can be good looking and be a bum. You know, so those who want to say love is unconditional, not always. It turns into something unconditional. Yeah. But if love truly was unconditional, you would see homeless dudes with the baddest shorties around, you know? But I say that to say this. What happens is, and this is my opinion, men, when they get to a certain place in life, they feel they qualify for women. And then when they get those women and they go through this whole ordeal, it's like, you might think you qualify, but you weren't built for this. Yeah. You know, and that what brings down the rain and all the frustration and the hate and the misogyny, because it's like, oh, these girls ain't shit. No, the woman that you chose ain't shit. You chose, because at the end of the day, you have free will. If you're choosing to deal with that person, that's your free will. No one told you to put up with that. No one told you to pay $5,000. Yeah. Did you really think it's like, please don't take this personal. I ain't gonna say your name, but you know what Twin Peaks is, right?
Yes, it's like a Hooters.
Yeah. I like the Korean ribs. Again, I'm a foodie. I have a homeboy that's there, and I was like, yo, let's go back to the restaurant. Yo, we went back to this shit like 4 times. This is the one in Davie. I'm a foodie. I'm not gonna say no. So he's like, yo, I think she's feeling me. I was like, no, dude, she's feeling the $100 tip for the $30 bill you just basically paid.
Literally.
$30 bill gives a $100 tip. She's not feeling you, bro.
The girls make so much money there.
But you understand, like, that whole shit.
I do.
And then they catch feelings.
I know.
When shit goes sour, it's like, you came about it the wrong way. If you're gonna lead with money, and I want to say this to you, gentlemen, if you're gonna lead with money, I hope you got a long fucking bank trail.
The relationship will be based off of money.
It's gonna be materialistic, you know. And that's the thing where these dudes, I call them peacocks, you know, because back in the day, you know, a woman like you know, obviously you're very attractive. You got the jewelry, you look good, you got your hair done. But now I look at these dudes, I'm like, bro, what are you peacocking for? What do you mean? I'm like, you're talking about diamonds on your neck. Diamonds are a girl's best friend. What are you doing?
I know.
Like,
I will never, ever go on a date with somebody if he is, like, bust out. That's not for me.
But to me, it's weird because it's like, growing up, again, I understand I'm an old head. You get to a point where the bosses were the ones, like your dad, who have a business, who grind for what they have. It's like, at least to me, real men don't flaunt on what they can buy. Real men flaunt on what they're able to build and success on. So it's like, the dudes I look up to is like, yo, you see that? My child goes to whatever school they want. Oh, you see that? I was able to take my girl to the places of it. That's power to me.
It's such a turnoff when I hear a guy talking about, like, well, I make this much money and I bought this and I bought that. And I'm like, it's such a turnoff to me because I don't honestly, I obviously want to be with somebody who has money. Am I talking millions? No, I'm just talking about he's financially stable. But like when you're over here bragging about how much money you make, like I'm not with you for your money, so I don't know why you're talking about that. And I think it's such a turnoff.
It's a sign of insecurity.
Yes.
Like
I'm like, why do you feel like you need to brag to me that you just bought an AP and a Lamborghini? Like, okay. Good for you. Good for you. I'm happy for you. But you could have kept that to yourself. You didn't have to tell me that.
Because to me, when even believe it or not, girls are doing like the whole paradox.
I know girls do it too. When I see girls on Instagram posting pictures like this and posting pictures like this with the little logo on the back of their head from the car, I'm like, why though? Because like, no, okay, yeah, you look like you got money and I'm sure you have money or whatever the case is. I don't really know. I know, but it's like, why though? But girls are doing it not even in Miami. It's like you could be in like New York or like Pennsylvania doing it, but it's like, but why though? Like you honestly, like keeping things to yourself is so good. Like you'll never see me and what car I own on social media. I'm never posting the car I own. I'm never posting the watch I just bought. I'm never posting the bag I just bought. I'm never doing it. It's none of your business what I have.
Okay, but you see how you are? Now, I have to ask you, is that something that you naturally have, or do you feel that was influenced because of your upbringing?
I don't know, honestly. I mean, when I first started making money and I started buying nice things, I never posted it on my big page. Like, I have like a family friends page, and like I would post like little pictures here and there. But then I got to a point where I'm like, think about the people that are following me. None of them are making anywhere close to the amount of money I'm making at the same age that I am at. And I think it's a little inappropriate that I'm flaunting things that I have, because they are looking at it as, wow, I'm either jealous of her or they're looking at it in a negative way and they don't wish well on me. So I don't want to put out what I have, even to people that I went to high school with, my friends and family, close friends. It's
You're
honestly
very aware.
I'm aware. It's none of their business. I think that the things that I own, the things that I am doing, the places I am going, the things that I am buying are none of anybody's business except for the people that are in my close circle. And honestly, even when recently I had to buy a new car, my best friend, like my literal best friend that I tell everything to, she is my number one ride or die. Like, she's going to the grave with my secrets. She honestly didn't even know I bought the car for 3 months that I had it. And she was like, oh, when did you get that? And I was like, 3 months ago. And she's like, why didn't you tell me? And I was like, because it's none of your business. To be honest, it isn't. It's none of your business. Because why am I telling you, like, hey, I just bought a second car?
You know
why?
what?
So I can like flaunt it on her and make her jealous? I'm not making her jealous. It's none of her business.
I ain't gonna lie to you. I did the same shit to my brother out there. I'm sorry still, but
even my mom had no idea that I bought the car until she came to Florida, and she was like, when did you get that? And I was like, 7 months ago. She's like, why didn't you tell me? I'm like, cause it's none of your business. If you're not paying for it or signing on it, why do you need to know what I'm doing?
I feel you on that one, and it's crazy because it's like, okay, so I just got, I had my Infinity. Love that car till it got wrecked.
I hate that.
I love it. And I love the VQ engines. But for the most part, it's like when you make moves, my mom always taught me, I'm a mama's boy, like, be careful. Not everyone's going to celebrate you. And sometimes you create your own haters without realizing it.
Even in your close circle, you'll have a best friend who is your supporter, and behind closed doors, she's low-key jealous, or he's low-key jealous.
Like, imagine this, like, I'm the type of person, I love to celebrate people. Like, yo.
Me too.
Like,
I do.
I don't know why.
I'm never jealous of anybody, ever.
I can't, number one, what I want in this life, pretty much I can only work for it and God can only give me. So jealousy, I don't understand it. And I never understood how somebody could want something that someone else has. Like,
yeah, I agree.
You know, it's like, that's borderline schizo type. You know, and I call it how I see it. And, you know, with that, it's like, yeah, privacy is golden, you know, and a lot of people, you know, they want to be seen or be heard. And it's like, holy shit, you're robbing yourself of joy, because comparison is the thief of joy.
And I think it's even more of a turnoff when a guy does it, because a lot of girls like to flex. I get it. You're a girl. You want to show off, whatever. That makes sense. But when a guy does it, I'm like, you really should keep your business to yourself. And I get everybody wants to use social media, but for a guy to be on social media and being like, just bought this Lambo, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, why though? Like, I don't know. I just feel like the people in this life that have a lot more and are wealthier and blah, 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 like, they are not showing it off.
Yeah, they're keeping it
and
moving.
They're keeping it to themselves, and they're very like respectful and humble, and like at the end of the day they thank God for it too. That's another thing. A lot of people like get all this shit and they're not even thanking the higher power for it.
Okay, let's touch base on there, because now comes into like, how, you know, well, how the fuck is this girl going to even talk about God? She does OnlyFans. Let's set
God
the record
doesn't
straight. Let's set the record straight. Are you religious?
I will never say that I am Catholic, baptism, or Baptist, whatever it's called, or whatever the religion is. I don't choose a religion. I believe in God and I pray to God, and I have a very, very, very close relationship with God. I don't go to church. I don't believe in going to church because I grew up Catholic in a Catholic community, and I just honestly find it to be very fake. It's all about money. And so I don't want to say that I am Catholic because I don't want any part of it.
I don't subscribe to an organization. I just say I'm a child of God.
Yes.
And I'm here to love.
And you don't need to go to church
judge.
to have a relationship with God.
Well, here's where things to touch base on religion, what messes me up. Church is for the broken. not for those to flaunt. It's when church is a temple, you're right. So when you feel disconnected to God, that's where you go to realign yourself.
Yeah.
But in this day and age, churches are a corporation to me. You know,
and they're always asking for money.
Yeah, and it's
God,
like,
why would God want me to do that?
Like in my situation, and this is no shade at my church, it's just my relationship with God has always been solid, even when I don't want to listen. You know, and sometimes He'll correct me, but people will take your blessings and your hardship and use it as a message to push their agenda, and I stay away from that.
Yeah.
And like, you know, when I got in my accident, the thing was like, well, look what God did for Jason. I'm like, are you marketing me? Like, you bring, people are desperate in certain situations, and they'll look at someone like, yeah, oh, I deserve that too, and you're not helping the person, you're misleading them. That's how I honestly see it, which is why I also don't subscribe to any organization. I just say I'm a child of God, bro.
Yeah.
And you know, do I practice the word? You very much so. I move in that same case because with all the hardships that I went through in my life, and I'm pretty sure you can contest too with your health. Yeah. It's like, it gets real out there.
It does.
You know,
yeah.
that one day you wake up, you don't feel good, and it's like, Lord, I'm calling on you.
To be honest, I've never, when I was younger, I didn't believe in God because I thought like, well, why would, if there was a God, why would I be dying right now? Why would He let me suffer and suffer and suffer and never, like, I always looked at it as I suffered a lot with my health, but I never died. Like, I was close to death and on the verge of death, but I never actually died. And so in my head, I was like, why is God's purpose for me to just suffer? Like, I'm not actually dying. Like, if He wanted me dead, I would have been dead, but I'm not. I'm like suffering for 2 years with my health.
What's the lesson to be learned?
But then as I got older, I was young. I was like in my teenage years, and my parents did believe in God, and they would always be like, don't think like that. But as
also,
I got
you're
older,
a kid and you're seeing kids live their life, and you're like,
exactly. I'm like, why am I not?
Through a window, I can't even go outside because
exactly.
You know.
So then as I got older, I realized this is God's like purpose, is to put me on this planet because I got sick. My mom went back to school to become a holistic nutritionist. She has saved other people from dying of health issues. So I feel like I was put on this planet to do great and do better than like what maybe I think I'm supposed to do. So now I look at it as a blessing, and I never say like, oh, I have Crohn's disease, like why me? Like I hate it, blah, blah, blah. I actually look at it as a blessing. I'm so thankful that I was able to go through something like that and learn a lot of lessons. It helped me mature at a younger age. It helped me learn a lot about the medical system, what you're supposed to put into your body, the like health aspect of it. And I'm very educated in that sense. And like I learned a lot. I helped a lot of people. Now, like when my friends, you know, we're getting older, health issues are starting to occur. When they have health issues, they come to me, and for me to be able to give, you know, some advice, obviously I'm not a doctor, but like for me to be able to give them advice and see them like feel better is so awesome to me. So like I look at it as a blessing now. And like now that I'm older, like I thank God for it. And I'm like, you know what? Thank you for like giving me this and helping me get through it. You know, like I wouldn't be able to get through it without thinking that there was light at the end of the tunnel because God didn't want me to die.
When you say that, what comes to mind is you went through some serious darkness
I did.
in order to find that light.
I did.
And I think people, like, I call it the chosen few because your resilience, you pushed through, and you did it while not being selfish about it. Because the whole poor me, that's the first thing that comes to mind when you're
poor me.
I don't either, but when you're really down and out, you start thinking like,
no, to
did
be
I do
honest,
something wrong? Did I bring this on myself? Like,
I get that, but like I've been in situations with my health where like I'm literally dying and I'm like praying to God, like please honestly just end my life because I don't want to suffer anymore. Like that's how deep it's gotten. But then when I hear somebody that like has, I don't know, like a random cold or some shit, and they're like, oh my God, I'm so sick, and I'm like, you would never have been able to walk in my shoes ever. And I don't want to hear that you're sick and you're this and you're that because I don't feel bad for you. I don't feel bad for like honestly anybody unless like something crazy has happened to you. But at the end of the day, you should never look at it as why me. You should look at it as this is happening for a reason. Everything happens for a reason. Whether you are dying, you're sick, you got paralyzed, you have your arm fell off, or whatever the case is, like you really have to look at it as why is this happening to me and what can I learn from it? Never, oh, poor me, I want people to like come and take care of me and shower me with like sorrows and stuff. That's not how you should look at things.
I always say it like this. it's amazing how people will call on to God when they're really messed up.
Yeah, but never when they're doing good.
Exactly.
And honestly, I think of that like with people too. Think about it. People only check up on you when they know things are going bad in your life. Why are you not checking up on people when things are going good in their lives? Why? Why is that?
You know what we call that? A roll call. Courtesy, like, hey, I know we ain't talking. I'm just want to see you good.
Yeah.
All right, cool. That's love.
Why don't you check up on people when they're doing good? Like, I randomly will think of somebody from like high school that I haven't talked to in 5 years, and I'll text them and be like, hey, randomly was thinking of you. How are you doing? I don't even know what they're going through. But like,
save their life
why
and not
can't
even
you
know
do
it.
that? Like, why can't you just
Because
randomly reach out to somebody?
People reach out when things go wrong because they don't want to care. They just want to know what's going on to talk about the situation. And that listen, I don't like y'all.
Yeah, I don't like that.
Y'all. But I will say this for ammunition for you, for anyone who wants to basically ridicule you for the choices you make in your life when it comes to religion, just keep in mind, when it comes to Christ, he didn't use the best members of society. And I think people forget that. He didn't call on wealthy. He called on drunks. He called on gluttonous people. He called on criminals to associate with himself. The disciples alone, you know. Mary, perfect prime example. People that we would turn a blind eye to are the ones he used to spread his message.
Yeah.
And I think people need to understand that because they have a fictitious mindset of what it is to honestly be in a relationship with God and how one lives their life. That's why I don't judge, bro. Like, listen, I don't seen the Grim Reaper too many times where it's like, yo, you know
also, what you said about like me doing OnlyFans and believing in God, I think is so stupid that people say that, because no matter what you do in life, don't you think that you should have a relationship with God? Whether you do OnlyFans, you're a prostitute, or you're a construction worker, or you work at McDonald's, why can't you believe in God no matter what you do? It's not about the job that you do on earth.
And here's the thing, like, even let's be honest, there may be some things in your life I don't agree with, right? Okay, that's your problem.
Exactly.
Why do I have to take it upon myself?
Yeah.
Like, no, that's wrong.
But that's people on the internet, they care too much.
Like, dog, do you know we can
I'm telling
see
you right now, social media would not be a thing if people actually mind their own business. The only reason why social media does so well is because people do not mind their own business.
No, and again, I think social media is a thief of people's joy. Because even in relationships, like when I was in my relationship, you want me to say what? You want me to tell you what? Nah. Because to me, and this is, correct me if I'm wrong, when it's like getting your family involved. If I'm with someone like you and then say we get in a fight, if I tell my mom and I tell my sister, what ends up happening is They're end up assassinating your character. But what's fucked up is that we had that fight. I go to them and I tell them all this shit, but then I come right back to you, color up. But guess what? I already tarnished your image because they're going to love me no matter what. But they're never going to look at you the same.
Yes.
And then also in a relationship, why it's important to keep shit private, at least in my opinion, is people are always looking for weaknesses in whatever you got going on.
And they're never going to talk about the good. They're always going to talk about the bad. Like when you're hanging out with your friends and you're like, oh, you heard so-and-so like got into a breakup or they broke up for a few days. You're never going to hear, oh my God, did you hear they had a great date the other night and they had like the most loving romantic like dinner? They're never going to say that. They're going to talk about the bad. They're going to talk about how you almost broke up.
Not only that, imagine, I don't know if you've ever been in those situations where, you know, to validate, sometimes your friends, to validate their reasoning, they'll take a page out of your book and use you as an example. Like,
don't use me
look
as
what
an
happened
example.
to Jay, man. That's why I don't fuck with bitches because, you know, look what Jay went through. And I'm looking at this fool like, what you just say? Yo, I ain't TV. Don't watch me. You know? And privacy is important. It is a golden rule in everything that you do. Now, mind you, who you choose to allow in, hopefully you have a good filter. Because, yo, we have 1,000 types of faces, yo.
Yeah.
A smile could say 1,000 things. I could be smiling at you like this, and I could be thinking some like, seriously sinister shit. And the fucked up part is, when it comes from the ones you love, it affects you to a heavy load because it's like the emotions that I feel influence my behavior.
Yeah.
So I can tell you to your face, oh, Anna, you ain't shit. You're going to be like, yeah, whatever, bro.
Yeah,
now, if your father
exactly.
told you that,
it would
you're
hit
going
different.
home like, damn. You know, like, and I think, and it's the same thing, and that's how I feel like my relationship with Christ is too, because it's like, I worked my ass off to be where I'm at now, and I'm still not satisfied. No one can take that away from me ever.
Yeah.
But the moment I give someone an inch of that, it's like I could tear down everything that I worked so hard for. And that's why it's like, be important. And when people want to have a certain mindset of you, okay, well, it's not a right for people to know me. It's a privilege. And you don't give that privilege to everyone.
That's true.
I do have some more questions
before
we close out, you know. But who is your hero and why? It could be a superhero. It could be a family member. It could be a damn dog. Because I'm a cat person. But
me too. I'm a cat person. Probably just my parents. They're really the only two people that I really care about. Obviously my sister too, but my parents, I do look up to them a lot. I wouldn't be where I am today without them. So I guess you can consider both my parents my heroes.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's very important.
It is.
You're truly a homebody, huh?
I am. I don't, because of my Crohn's, I don't drink. If I go to dinner and people are drinking, maybe I'll have like one glass of wine. But for the most part, I don't drink. I don't want to go out. I really like being in bed and asleep by midnight because I like waking up for like the gym or Pilates early. I have a lot of work to do. I don't care to go out. If it involves drugs, I'm not going. I don't care to. If it involves something that's illegal, I'm not involving myself. I also don't have a lot of friends that do go out and party and drink because that's not the way that I want to live life. So my friends literally love to stay in. We like play Uno, we watch movies, and we're all in bed by 11 o'clock. And those are my friends, and I love them for it. And there's not a lot of people like that out there. That's why I don't have many friends. But people have gotten to the point where they don't even invite me out anymore, and I don't really care. I'm not missing out on anything. How I think of it is if it's not bettering me, if it's not making me healthy, or if it's not making me money, then why am I going?
Well, I give it the energy.
Exactly. And so I am at an age where I'm like, I don't care to leave. I also don't like eating out.
You're at an age. You're still young, yo.
I know, but I'm like, but at 28, why are we still going out and partying and drinking? Like, go do something with your life.
I'll be honest with you.
But I meant it as like, we're at an age where we need to start bettering ourselves because 30 starts to hit and 35 starts to hit and things start going wrong in your body. So why are you putting drugs and alcohol into your body and you're not looking at the quality of food that you're eating and working out? You really need to like change your life a little bit better. Hey. You know, and so that's my life. I love to like make. I cook everything. Like I said,
cook?
Yeah. Well, my mom, like, she has always made us food, so like I didn't grow up eating out. So when I moved out on my own, like, I didn't know what it was like to like go to a store, go to a restaurant and order takeout and stuff. So I just started making my own food. So I only like, and I have a lot of health issues. So I want to make sure that
your diet is very important.
Yeah, because then I don't want to get sick. So I don't really enjoy, I love going out to eat to dinner. I just don't do it as often. I like to make my own food and like eat stuff that's coming from my own home, my own refrigerator.
Well, I believe the saying goes, your hospital is your kitchen.
Yes.
So that, and especially like in certain cases, like I love to cook myself. That's like when I'm angry, if I can't drive, I'm in the kitchen. If you see me chefing it up, know two things. Either I'm in love or who pissed this man off?
Yeah.
Like, because it's... And it's also...
Oh, no, I think it's so much fun. Yeah. I make dinner every single night. And so, fun fact about me is I live in Miami, but I also live in New Jersey. And my father lives with me at my house in New Jersey. And so when I do go, I travel back and forth every few weeks. And so when I'm in New Jersey, I cook dinner for me and my father every night. And like, he honestly has control of the menu. I don't, because he's really picky and I'm not. I literally will eat and make anything. He's very Italian, so he wants Italian dishes literally every night.
Let me get some gabagool.
Yeah, like he's like, I want chicken cutlet and like a meat sauce with pasta. pasta. I'm like, okay, I wanted burgers, so I'm gonna make you that, and I'll make myself burgers. But so like, I love cooking.
You have a menu.
I do. Crazy. I literally like ask him every Sunday we go food shopping, and I'm like, what do you want for the week? And he like plans it all out.
I want fresh arugula. I want some balsamic vinegar, and I want some fresh.
It was so funny. We were at the food store the other day, and he's looking at apple cider, and my dad has an issue with sugars. He can't consume too much sugar, so he's looking at the ingredients.
He's not diabetic? Or?
He's not diabetic. It just affects him with his joints because he has bad arthritis. So if he intakes too much sugar, even just natural fruit sugar, it hurts his arthritis. So he's looking at the ingredients, and he's asking me like how many grams of sugar is in here, and I was like, they did add sugar into it. I was like, but I could just make you apple juice. It's very easy to make. And he's like, you can make it? And I was like, yeah, well, like let's just get apples. So I bought apples and I made him apple juice. It took like 4 hours because you have to simmer, you have to like do everything to the apple juice. And so I made it for him, and he drank it, and he was like, that was the best thing I've ever had. Can you make it again next week? So now every time we go food shopping, he gets 5 apples and he comes home with them and he's like, apple juice, please.
That's beautiful, man.
I know. I love it.
That is beautiful. It's awesome that you have a great relationship with your parents.
I love my parents. They're my best friends.
See, right there, that is important to to have tranquility in life, even if it's just one parent.
But they have done a lot for me. Think about like, you don't know what I've been through, but like health-wise and everything, like they have taken out a second mortgage to afford my medical bills. My parents have really done a lot for me. Like my mom went back to school to help cure me. Like a lot of parents don't care. They just send their kid to the hospital. That's it. A lot of parents don't even stay with their kid in the hospital. My mom refused to leave. She didn't shower for weeks on weeks because she was not leaving my side. You know what I mean? Like my dad would go home and make me something to eat and bring it so I didn't have to eat hospital food. My parents have gone above and beyond. Like they've traveled the world to get me to feel better and get healthier. Like I feel like I owe them, even though I don't, because like those are parents. That's what they're supposed to do for their children. But I feel like
but they want.
They went above and beyond to do more than what a normal parent should have. And so I feel like if I have the money and the like availability to cook and buy them things and pay their bills, why should I not do that?
Well, it's a communication of love, man. Like acts of service. You know, it's the best feeling. Mama, I love you. Yeah. Papa, I love you.
Yeah.
You know, it's I can never truly repay.
Yeah, you can't.
Back the debt I owe, because Lord knows, listen, Ma, if you're watching this, I appreciate all your sacrifices, even the times that
They sacrificed a lot.
You know, and it's crazy, man. Appreciation. Yes. If you know you got your parents out there, make sure you tell them how you feel, man. There ain't no promise.
Especially
tomorrow,
if you got good parents, because it's very hard to come by good parents.
Especially, and understand, I always say you get the parent you need, not the parent you want.
Well, you do. Some people say, like, before you come to earth and you're in heaven, that you get to pick the parents that you want. So I picked mine correctly. I'm happy. God gave me the choice, and I was like, amen, I'm taking them.
That's beautiful, man. Okay.
Any other questions?
Yes. What are the best tools you have used in your business that have worked for you?
I don't even know. That's a good question. Tools. I think the best, I don't know if it's a tool, but the best thing I've ever done for myself is in the industry that I am in, I sit at dinners with a lot of my friends own like management companies or this company or that company. Like I know the owner of OnlyFans, like that type of stuff. Like I have sat at these like dinners and I just listen. I'm like one of the only girls at dinner sometime, and I just sit there and I eat my dinner and I'm listening to multiple men talk about business, and I just sit there and they're like, oh, and like, how are you doing? I'm like, I'm great. Get back to talking because I'm listening. You know, like I love sitting at business dinners with very successful men and just listen. I learn so much, and I don't want to talk. I don't care to talk. I'm there to like look pretty and eat my delicious dinner and learn something. You know what I mean? Like I'm not there because I'm trying to sleep with that one or sleep my way to the top or get to know this person for
earn it.
I'm trying to like really just trying to like learn something. So that's what I do.
Okay. Last question. One thing that you know for sure, and 2 things you know for certain.
One thing I know for sure is that if you believe in God and you acknowledge the fact that you are blessed and you thank Him for everything that you have on a daily basis, you will be blessed with more. That is for sure. I can
right.
speak that one from
Experience.
from experience for sure. 2 things for certain.
You got all the time in the world.
2 things for certain is I'm beautiful and you should follow me on Instagram. No, I'm kidding.
Right. No. Hey, listen, this is business. Speaking of that, where can they find you?
You can find me at ANA NELLO on Instagram. That is Anna with 1 N, so ANANELLO. And that's pretty much on every platform. And then you should definitely go follow my What's Her At page, where I go and interview awesome creators. They are all OnlyFans girls, and they have the craziest stories. They're so entertaining. You will definitely get a good laugh out of every single one that gets posted. And that Instagram page is called What's Her.
Sweet.
Yes.
And you can find me at Logic142 and 1424podcast.com.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah.